A great corporation is like a great relationship. It's all about communication. Communication and collaboration in Cameron International.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Cabreja, and I'm doing a PowerPoint or video on the communication process. We all know that there are many different types of communication. There's face-to-face, or so how you call it, interpersonal, where these are the more important communications, where you'd say you're in a job meeting, you're in a job interview, or just a meeting with your boss, or anyone who's in particular who's a higher authority. It's more important to you and it involves more. There is nonverbal, hand gestures. This is where it comes to your social life. You're talking with, let's say, your family or your friends. You know, your facial expressions, that it shows how you react to everything they say, they do, just the little things. Written letters, such as emails, text messages, anything like that. Whether you can't say, you can't show up in person and you can't see them face to face because you have something to do across the town or across the other side of the world. You never know. Social media. Let's say the person isn't replying to your letters, your emails. Social media has become a big part of our world now and just our life. You can always tag, let's say, I tag a friend saying, hey, let's do this, they will know, they will instantly know right then and there that you have requested them or have given them that notification. Miscommunication. Miscommunication can lead to conflicts involving the two people that the conversation is in between. The perceptions may vary, facts and other relevant info are not communicated clearly. There can be many different miscommunications nowadays. If you're not face to face, there can be a lot miscommunicated. For example, text messages. One person might be saying a text message and you might take it a whole nother way and get upset. That's how arguments start. Then you have to talk it out. You have to get with them and talk with them about that. Miscommunication can play a big role in the process of job interviews, of meetings, anything like that, some sort. It can be a huge deal breaker. Resolving miscommunication. There's three ways to resolve it. Talk it out clearly and collectively. Just tell them what is going on, what you meant in particular. Don't be blunt. Don't beat around the bush. You have to explain clearly what you mean and what you intended to mean. Listen to what the other person or the other job has to say. Don't just ignore their fact nor the other side, because they might be saying the same thing just in a different version or interpret it in a different way than you are. Don't be so quick to assume things. Most people nowadays, when they get upset, they say, I don't want to talk. Okay, well then just relax, listen to what they have to say. Miscommunication can lead to many different things that don't even tend to happen. It just happens because you miscommunicated. So just talk it out.
Hi, this is Adil Artwayan. I'll talk about improving collaboration through communication, and you'll see how it's applied to Cameron International Corporation. We'll go through 5 points: transparency and openness, use of electronic media, active listening, constructive feedback, and space design. These all are techniques of social learning manager and leader use to know how to get things done with the support of others. Let's start with the transparency and openness. Sharing accurate information openly and honestly with the workers, customers, or shareholders. And that's what Cameron does. If you visit the US Securities and Exchange Commission, which is a government website, as you see, sec.gov, you can look up all the information about the Cameron Corporation. And it's very important because it's a part of the value system to have high level of transparency. It gets employees to be more engaged at work, therefore more productivity, and also in the business environment it gives the corporation more credibility. As for use of electronic media, Cameron International Corporation is very active in social media, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. They have official accounts, also in Yahoo Finance page. Cameron International Corporation has more than 20,000 employees in and outside the United States. They are all being connected through electronic media like email to exchange data and information in order to speed up the workday. Active listening is helping someone to say what she or he really wants to say. There are rules for active listening. Some of these rules listen for message content, listen for feelings, to know how exactly that the source is feeling about the content, to pay attention to nonverbal signal because some of these messages are mixed messages, and also to how to restate what you think you are understanding or hearing. The fourth point is constructive feedback, telling others how you feel about something. It could be product or service. And we have feedback guiding. The feedback has to be specific, not general. Time, which means you choose the right time when you feel the receiver is more willing to accept what you will send. Valid, to be limited to things, not to get into details. Space design, or proxemics, which is the study of how to use space, including distance, openness, and intimacy. As you see in this picture, you can't tell who's the manager. Both are sitting in the identical chairs, same level, and leaders and managers use this technique with their followers or with their employees to develop communications with an organization.
Hi, my name is Hamid and I will be presenting the meaning conflict section of our presentation. Types of conflict. I'm sure you can all think of a situation where you have encountered conflict. Think about what were the case. An instant distinction between substantive. One, emotional conflict. Emotional conflict tend to be about personality clash and relate to feeling. In contrast, situation conflict is about goals or tasks. In conflict bad, well, not always. There is an element of functional conflict which makes people work hard and avoids group think. Much conflict and it's dysfunctional. The diagram illustrates how conflict can be mapped out on a bell curve. In the second slide, cases of conflict. As you can imagine, there are number of cases on conflicts. Some are easier for managers to deal with than others. Role ambiguity can be helped by defining job expectation, resource security, case conflict when people compete for them. tax independence case people to rely on one another. People have personality clash and communication breakdown. And in the third slide, conflict resolution. Conflicts can be resolved and suppressed through conflict resolution, elimination, and underlining. The reason behind the conflict in concerts: when conflict is merely suppressed, it will continue to bubble below surface.
Managing negotiations. Negotiations is a process of making joint decisions when the parties involved have different preferences. All negotiation situations are susceptible to conflict and require communication and interpersonal skills. Some of the criteria of effective negotiation is quality, cost, and harmony. Quality is truly satisfying both parties. Cost is doing this efficiently, minimizing the use of your resources and your time. And harmony, it fosters interpersonal relationships. In negotiations, there are different types. Disruptive negotiation focuses on claims made by each party and leads to a win-lose outcome. Principled negotiations is based on the outcome of the merits of the individual claims, which leads to a win-win. And that is in the bargaining zone. There are some common pitfalls. First, falling prey to the myth of the fixed pie. Next is the non-rational escalation of conflict. Then there's the overconfidence and ignoring others' needs. There's also too much telling and too little hearing. There's also premature cultural comfort and the trap of ethical misconduct. Hi, I'm Michelle Ayers, and after learning about managing negotiations, I'm here to talk to you about how Cameron International has done it. In 2001, one of the most profound incidents were between Houston homeowners and the company. Because of some underground tapping, some of the Houstonians had noticed that their water quality had decreased. After testing the water, they did notice that some runoff did affect their water quality. 190 homeowners were negotiated with and a settlement was reached. In 2011, Cameron International faced employee issues where 401ks and retirements had to be renegotiated. It was at this time that Cameron called in their HR department to actually communicate with employees and let them know the situation and why things were being altered. It is very important in negotiations that we always communicate, that this company has always been forthright in presenting what they were facing and the situation that they had to the things that they had to do in order to get past the situation. In 2014, a merger came knocking at their door. And in this, they did not agree. Schlumberger came desiring to take a part of their drilling institutions. However, an agreement was not made and the deal fell through. So sometimes things can't come to an agreement, but in those cases, it's always important to keep the company first and be fair and honest.